Hi there, welcome to the show. My name's Sophia Chu, and I'm here with Abyss player Pabu. Today I'll be asking a few questions in regards to the upcoming split. How are you today, Pabu?
All right, thank you.
That's good, that's good. Um, my first question for you today is coming into the split with the new roster changes of Looch and Rosey. How do you feel these players have slotted into the team, and how do you think you'll do in this upcoming split?
I think both of the players are upgrades over the previous ones, and I think that overall they're going to fit into the team fairly well and contribute towards us placing significantly higher than we did last split.
Okay. So how do you think you'll do in this upcoming split? Do you think you'll
Um,
succeed?
well, last split was a disaster. We finished seventh. That's not good. I think or at least my aspirations for this split is at least top four, if not higher. But I reckon top four is easily achievable with this roster.
How do you think Luch compares to other OPL mid laners?
Um, in regards to Leech specifically, Adeline, he's like really good at team fighting. He might not always do the correct thing, but like inside his lane, he's possibly like the best mid laner knows at like the laning itself. It's ridiculous. So I feel like yeah, in terms of laning, he quite possibly could be the best in us.
Well, seeing as you are so confident in your team, what do you think your greatest strengths are as a top laner, and how do you think you'll win the split for Abyss?
Um, I think as a player myself, my strengths lie in my laning is decent. It's not the best, but it's still like pretty good in comparison to other top laners. But my style of team fighting is very aggressive, and I think that I find many opportunities that some other top laners can't and don't like regularly do. So I think that uh like easily engaging fights and finding good fights is what I am going to provide mostly that will help Abyss do well in the split.
That sounds very promising. So you're 17, right? And you're still in high school?
Indeed.
How are you finding balancing work and school? Seeing as you are year 12 and it's the last year of high school, it's also a very important year. How have you been coping?
Yeah, I've been doing all right. So I finished two subjects last year, so there's a lot less work for me to do than most year 12 students, but there's still like a lot of work to be done. Not all of it always gets done, so like some things kind of slip under the radar, but yeah, I'm at the moment I'm coping fairly well with like the stresses of both league and school. Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, that's good to hear. So after watching MSI, what are your thoughts on the current top lane meta?
Um, it to be honest, it's pretty boring right now. Especially with the new Doran shield, it's gonna make all of the interesting top laners like a lot less favorable, and I think it's gonna like tend towards tanks more. Um, but it's entirely possible that the new Doran shield allows for champions that have a rougher earlier lane phase, like Fiora and stuff, and fun stuff like Fiora, Riven.
Yeah.
All those champions that just get roasted at like the first couple levels by stuff like Gragas. Um, I think that they might slide back into the meta, and so it could be a lot more fun. But at the moment, it's looking fairly stale with the mainstays at the moment of like Galio, Gragas, and Shen.
Okay, so do you have an opinion on who the best top laner might be? Just,
In the world, or like champions.
yeah, champions.
At the moment, Galio is like pretty much the standout champion in the top lane. His lane phase is absurdly good. His gank setup is good. He doesn't die to much. Like he pressures a lot, and he's like incredible at team fighting. So I think that Galio is possibly like yeah easily one of the better champions right now, if not the best.
Okay. Well, another question I have for you is what's your fondest memory of your time in esports?
Um, I don't know. Possibly the most elated I've been is when I qualified for OPL with Abyss. That was like really tight. We played against Trident, and they were like they were in relegations because they'd had a terrible roster for most of the split. But going at the end of the split, they were like the fifth or like the sixth best team like in the OPL. They weren't like a bottom two team. So it was a rough series. I didn't play particularly well, but we still ended up winning. It was like a tight 3-2 series. It was the first best of five that I'd actually won. Might have been the first like best of series that I'd actually won the first game in. But yeah, that was. It ended up going to like 1 a.m. and it was. I don't know. It was just quite like a happy memory of all the boys getting excited when we actually managed to win.
Sounds like a good time. So, Pabu, I've been told you use Snapchat quite a bit. Here's a fun question I have for you. Do you run your toothbrush underwater, then put toothpaste on, or toothpaste on first, then run it underwater?
Toothpaste always goes on first. Always before the water.
Always?
Yeah, always.
Or do you just, not use toothpaste at all?
No, of course use toothpaste. I don't trust anyone that puts the toothpaste on after putting it under the water.
Fair enough. Well, that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you for your time and your honest answers. Feel free to check out Pabu's Twitter in the link below. And if you enjoyed this interview, feel free to check out Global Esports Insight. We'll be bringing you more content soon. Thank you.